Up on the show, we're going to look back at all the midweek action in the company of Tim Sherwood. All eyes were on Old Trafford last night as Man City faced their neighbours in what was seen as their last big test in the title race run-in. Win this and they'd have one hand on that trophy. Your commentary team, Peter Drury and Jim Beglin.
And so the teams. Beaten 3 times at Barcelona, 4 at Everton. David De Gea is 11 games now without a clean sheet. Out of Sunday's 11 and onto the bench slip Lukaku, Martial, Dalot and Matic. Phil Jones is injured. For City, Ederson has conceded just 2 goals in the last 9 Premier League games, and Vincent Kompany returns to lead in defence. He has, of course, regularly starred in this special fixture. In midfield, Fernandinho and David Silva are both recalled at the expense of Phil Foden, who had such a day on Saturday, and the injured Kevin De Bruyne. Big miss. Darmian. Fred. Pogba. He's seen Jesse Lingard! That would have been a bit special. What a ball from Pogba.
Left foot as well. I mean, that's absolutely exquisite from Paul Pogba, and it's not an easy skill trying to get all that right, to be able to just side foot volley into the far corner.
Pogba, nice take. Shaw. Lindelof. Fred. Caught on it by Silva, taken forward by Gundogan. David Silva. Bernardo Silva thumped at De Gea, who reacted okay.
David De Gea will be thinking, glad that was at me.
Now Lingard going the other way. Rashford up ahead of him. Marcus Rashford for United. Ederson has done superbly well and stole it off his toe.
But how good is Ederson at that? He always goes to the danger. I just wonder whether, when it was fed to Rashford, whether he was just slightly offside. But this is the game plan again in operation, and Ederson had to come to the rescue, and that is more great goalkeeping. And Bernardo Silva, when this does get fed to him, absolutely pounds it, and De Gea luckily can see it, and very fortunate that it wasn't a yard or 2 either side, because the pace might have beaten him.
Zinchenko, Silva, Gundogan, Aguero, Silva, Aguero, Sterling! De Gea tumbles on it.
Well, I mean, Sterling did remarkably well to actually hang on to it and go on a little dribble with so many red shirts in the box. But David De Gea was obviously well positioned. Just needed a little more power. If he gets a bit more power, it gets past De Gea. I think we've yet to see the best of what this game might produce.
Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. Shaw's going backwards. Bernardo Silva scores. Finally, blue pierces red. And City are on top of the league. That blue moon is doing its thing again. Bernardo Silva is magic.
Well, they had been stepping it up before half-time, and they've come out and done likewise in this second half. And I just think it's one of those situations again where Luke Shaw has got to be thinking right foot. I've got to get him on his right foot, and I've got to push him a little wider if I can, make the angle narrower. Instead, he's just afforded the opportunity to come inside. And Luke Shaw doesn't even react. He's still trying to make the movement to get in position, and the shot's gone. Shot's gone past him. And De Gea is caught because he's not expecting it to go near post.
Back where he wants to be, back where he has to be. Bernardo Silva scores Manchester City's 156th goal of the season.
As goals go, potentially, that's gigantic.
Zinchenko, Silva, Aguero, Sane, this is lovely. It's Kun Aguero! That is City in their pomp.
Well, all of a sudden there's an inquest now across the Manchester United defence, because now we're seeing the speed and the intricacy, and it's very hard for a team to deal with that, and he's just a fraction out, isn't he, Aguero?
Now here comes Rashford. Lingard couldn't twist. Rashford hasn't given up on it. Lingard missed it altogether, and the moment got away.
Oh, what a chance. Look, I know it's on his weaker side, it's on his left foot, but he's still got his timing all wrong on it. And I wondered as well, when this came back to Marcus Rashford, Peter, from that ball in, had he strayed? Yeah, but it's off Manchester City player, so it doesn't matter. Oh, all he has to do is just get something strong on that. Misjudges it.
Fred busy, got errant on that occasion. And now Sterling can scamper. And Silva's with him, Aguero's ahead of him, Sané is square of him. This is Leroy Sané for Manchester City, who have a 2-goal lead at Old Trafford. They just will not be reeled in. Indeed, if anything, they are easing away. Sané from the bench, critically.
Yeah, and Fred did give it away. We said in the second half there's likely to be kind of greater threat with transition and when the ball is lost. And Raheem Sterling is able to set all this up with again, nice little movement to get in position. And once the feed comes inside, I'm questioning De Gea here. I think he has to deal with that. He's normally very strong, isn't he, with his foot. I think he should be getting more behind that and keep it out. And I know there's kind of, after his mistake at the new camp, there's a cause by some to start bashing De Gea. I largely defended him on Sunday. Can't defend that.
And he is on the cusp of winning on enemy territory again. And Solskjaer's head dips. No more games in hand. We all know where we are after tonight. Rashford. Lukaku. And Ederson bounced off Lingard and behind.
Yeah, well, that time I think it came at him too quickly, Lingard, and wasn't much he could have done without it. Lukaku, as he likes to do, go into wider positions, which I don't think helps his goal rate. Nonetheless, you know, he gets something decent across with pace.
Shaw. Pogba. In when Sanchez, out came Ederson.
Yeah. Sanchez thought about sticking his boot out, and then in the end just withdrew his leg once it took the deflection nearly into his path.
City, kings of the Manchester Manor again. City, top of the league again. Once more they will stride out of Old Trafford with all of the spoils. It is a double over United, and a domestic treble is still in sight. Winners again at Old Trafford by 2-0.
We spoke in the half time, so we have to win. You don't have another chance. We have to play to win. It doesn't matter if we lose at the end, but we have to try to win. And they play for the first action from Bernardo. We showed that we want to do it, and after the quality of the players make the rest, we make a good victory. It's tough to say, no, with 89 points or Liverpool 88, we still are not champion with 3 games left. Both deserve the title. Liverpool and ourselves deserve it, just one. So I think the team is going to lose. They don't have regrets, because they have done everything. Normally these kind of beaters you can enjoy it the most, but now have to be calm.
Ollie, what's your assessment of your team's performance and the game tonight?
Well, we got a reaction, and in the end we were beaten by a better team, but we got a reaction from the fans, from the players. We had a go, had efforts, didn't hit the target too many times, but you can see the work rate and everything was there, just wasn't good enough.
We didn't start as well as we would have liked, but at this stage of the season, in these kind of games, it can happen, and we stayed calm, defended well when we needed to, and then second half we got into our rhythm, and we felt first half we were creating chances already, and second half we were there to score goals, and that made a difference today.
Leroy got one of those goals. What was the manager's instructions to you when you came on?
I think, like always, just to produce the game, to bring more rhythm into the game, and to defend really good. And I think, obviously, like Vinny said, the first half we didn't get really in rhythm. The second half we did it really much more better, and that's why I think we could do a really good second half.
So, a big win for Man City, pole position now to retain the Premier League title. And I think, Tim, it was a deserved victory for them, wasn't it?
Overall, it was. I think Ollie was right. He did get a reaction. It was he had to get a reaction, and he got a reaction. It was a very poor performance at Goodison. You know, Man United cannot get beat in any game in that fashion as they did at Everton. He got a reaction in the first half. They looked like they were flat out. There was one player, in my opinion, Marcus Rashford, who looked like he knew it was a derby. I think he was alone in that. I don't think there was enough of them willing to put their bodies on the line. But in the end, the second half, I think the class told. Man City didn't play well initially. First half, couldn't get their passing going, couldn't find a final pass around the edge of the box, didn't panic. Continued to play the same way, got the chances in the second half, and they were clinical.
City showed steel as well as quality, but they had to withstand what was a difficult first half an hour, though, wasn't it? Because United, as you say, after that Everton game, were in their faces and pressing them.
Yeah, I mean, they had to show this reaction, and I think they did enough. He seemed to be the target, didn't he, Vincent Kompany?
Yeah.
He was like, when he's got the ball, he's a little bit leggy, he hadn't played. Marcus was looking to run him in behind every time, and he scared him to death, especially early on. And they did put pressure on higher up the field. But for me, sitting and watching it, I was just thinking, it's just a matter of time before they click Man City, because they cannot continue to play this badly. And I felt like Manchester United would run out of energy, and I think that's what happened in the end. They couldn't continually, not only physically, but mentally, keeping their concentration. You know, running without the ball, suffering out of possession, and I think it paid its toll in the end.
Yeah, after that initial half an hour, City started to get their foot on the ball, started to pass it nicely. United were chasing shadows.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the second half, though, that they took advantage, and it was Bernardo Silva, who's had an unbelievable season, who got the opener.
He has. Bernardo's been improving every year he's been at the football club, but just look at his movement here, where to find space. And it's not always moving, it's about standing still at times. You know, he waits for the defenders to move, and he finds an extra yard. He can handle the ball in the tight, and he knows there's no one on the inside there of Luke Shaw. He knows if he drags it inside, the only way he's going to score past a goalkeeper like De Gea's quality is to hit it unexpectedly, very, very quick. And he almost drags it inside and hits it in one instant. And I don't blame De Gea for that.
No.
I just think that's a wonderful strike who's taken it very, very early. Initially, when I first thought it, I thought he looked like he went down in stages. But as soon as he tucks it inside Luke Shaw, Luke can't set with his right foot. Look, he cannot move it. He's hit it before he moves his right foot to be able to block it. Bernardo Silva deserves that goal. So he's been outstanding.
So no real blame for Luke Shaw either.
Well, I think it's difficult. I think the blame what I can give to Luke Shaw is he cannot let him in the inside. His body position has to send him wide, has to send him on his right foot. We know he wants to drag it on his left foot, but once he drags it and hits it, I don't think Luke has got time to set with his right foot.
What about Bernardo Silva's best position? It seems as though he's settled now on that, in that forward three, on that right-hand side. Long-term, probably a replacement for David Silva, do you think?
Well, long-term, the position where I think that Pep likes him is Ferrandino.
Really?
You know, his stature, they're complete contrast, but he's tenacious.
You don't think he's looking elsewhere for someone to replace Ferrandino?
Possibly, but he couldn't wait to get Ferrandino off the field last night. Goes down with a knee injury, didn't even wait to have a chat with him, could not wait to get Sane on and bring Bernardo deeper, get him on the ball, because he's tenacious, he wins the ball, he's good in possession, always wants to hunt it down.
But it was Gundogan that went into that position, though, specifically.
They both went deeper, because Bernardo had to drop deeper so Sane could play higher up the field. I think Sane come on with a real impetus to show the manager that he's good enough. I think he's got something different. He runs at defenders. They've got an outstanding squad of players. Long term, you never know what's going through Pep Guardiola's mind. He is the master. He's the best in the division. He's probably the best manager in the world at the moment. He has got probably the best owners who are going to go out and identify the right players to come into that squad to improve them. If they can be improved, it seems remarkable that they can, but they will do it in the summer.
You mentioned him, Leroy Sané. He's found it difficult to break into the team at the moment. If you're picking City's strongest 11, he's probably not in it at the moment.
He's in it for me, but I'm not seeing him every day in training. But Pep Guardiola is, so he knows and he identifies who's mentally right to play, and he seems to fall out of a few of them. It looks like it's Sané's time, he tests them. He's almost prodding them and see what the reaction is. And that's the sort of reaction he needs. He'd done it with De Bruyne early on in the season. He'd done it last season with Kyle Walker for a period. He's a master at it, Pep. Keeps them on their toes. None of them think they've got to turn up and they're just going to play in the side. He works them. He works with their mind as well. You know, he's very cute.
You say you need a reaction. I mean, the best reaction is to come on and do exactly what he did and influence the game, because it was 0-0 when he came on.
Absolutely, and he knows he needs that. And I just think he gives them something different. For me, he plays all the time. And I know Pep's seeing them every day, but he gets that ball and he takes it to defenders, doesn't he? He risks the football and he drives that and he gives them that something different. I don't think they've got that. Mahrez is not the answer at the moment. No. Possibly in a year or two, once he's been developed by Guardiola, he could turn into that player. Sane, as much as they're questioning him, and Pep's asked him questions, possibly outside in the training field as well. You wouldn't want to get rid of Sane at the moment, because for me, he gives them a spark when it's needed, and he needs to show that reaction.
Yeah, well, this was his goal, of course, last night. I mean, look, a few errors from United. Yeah. Fred gives the ball away. There's Sane highlighted at the top, and his run. I mean, United's defence, though, Aguero's run is brilliant. He drags Darmian in, leaves the space for Sane. Look at United's back three. Yeah,
they're all over the place at this stage. You know, they get caught on a counter-attack. Now, we talk about how well they can pass the ball and keep the ball and rest in possession, Man City, when teams pack in. But they're also the best counter-attacking team in the league, up there with Liverpool. You know, it works some company, gets the interception, he gives it to Raheem Sterling, and he just looks. It's not about formations, it's about principles, and it's about travelling with that football, and he breaks the ground, breaks the midfield, breaking lines with movement, and then they're all flying forward as if their life depends on it. And Sane, can Raheem find the right pass? Of course he can. He's done it all season. He slides it into Sane, and he just hits the target. De Gea has to do better with that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him shortly. But what about the celebrations you saw there from Pep? He knows how big a win.
That's not just a celebration for that derby victory.
This is the one that Liverpool were thinking. Yeah. If they're going to slip up, it's going to be this one, isn't it? At Old Trafford.
Yeah. I mean, Pep will be professional enough. He's managed to cross the line many times in many countries, and he did it last season with Man City. He knows how difficult the English Premier League is, the most difficult league in the world, the most competitive league in the world. So he knows you have to be on his mettle right to the final whistle at the final game. But that celebration to me told me that was more than just a derby win. The end bit to it, you know, when he's almost like we're there in his mind. He won't tell anyone that, he know he's got work to do, but it was almost like that was the game, and we're over the line.
They love breaking records, don't they, Man City? They broke their own record as well for goals in all competitions. It's 157 now. I mean, they've got goals from all over the pitch, haven't they?
Yeah, and credit to them. I mean, football is the entertainment's business. We laud the Premier League because it's the best league in the world, and people love to watch it from all parts of the world, and that's the reason, because teams like Man City are in it, and Liverpool, and they score so many goals. Look at that.
There's confirmation. Look, 157. Now they scored 156. 2013-14. Man United 56-57. That's a long time ago.
I don't even remember that.
I'm not sure. You'd almost think one of Sir Alex Ferguson's teams would have scored that many goals, wouldn't you? Really, the way they went forward. But this City team now are electrifying.
Yeah, but they're great. But we get entertained by them, don't we? They've got goals from all over, haven't they? It's not just one person. We know Aguero has been sensational, but they score from all different areas of the field. They're allowed to play with freedom. They're always on the front foot. Pep Guardiola backs his side to beat anyone. Whoever he plays, or anywhere in the world, they will play with their identity. This is how we play. We attack. It's the principles, not the formations. Doesn't matter what formation he plays, the principles of it. If you get an opportunity to penetrate, you get at and you score goals. And you score more than the opposition. That's key.
Title race running. Is there any hope for Liverpool that City will drop points?
Yeah, there's always hope. I mean, for me, I would say no, but there's always hope because it's the English Premier League and it is the best league, and that's why it's so difficult. You know, for me, you look at the games what they've got there on the left-hand channel there. You would have to say the Burnley game is going to be a difficult fixture. Burnley away. After that, you would say the Watford game in the Cup is obviously not included in the Premier League. Brighton away, that's a lovely pitch to play on. Brighton would be very, very negative. They just need to get a goal. Anything can happen. Leicester, you know, with Brendan Rodgers going in there. With the Liverpool games, you know, you look at that Newcastle fixture, you know.
In between the Barcelona. In between the Barcelona games.
Yeah, but it's Benitez, isn't it? You know, it's the old Liverpool manager. Listen, contrary to what people might believe, Rafa Benitez does not want Liverpool to win the league.
If we are going to give Liverpool some hope, it is Burnley. And Burnley actually have beaten the champions every season they've been in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So can they do it again? This is the big question. Look, they've done it against United, City, Leicester, Chelsea, and now they've got one more game against City to keep that run going. But they have been beaten twice by City this year already. Both times 5-0. Once in the league and once in the FA Cup.
10-0 on aggregate, so it doesn't bode well. But it's on their ground, tight ground, not the most fantastic pitch where Man City like to enjoy. There's no love lost here between the two managers. They had a come together in I think it was the FA Cup game. There was words on the touchline. He'll want nothing more. Sean Dyche will want nothing more than to turn over Man City. You know.
Well, Rafa Benitez won't want Liverpool to win the league,
I don't think he will. I don't think he will. As much as the Liverpool fans will believe that Rafa will be a Liverpool fan, he won't want to be the manager who never won the league and let Jurgen Klopp win it.
Yeah, I mean, would this be City's best title win, do you think?
Yeah, we know
because they've got so much competition this year.
Yeah, well, Liverpool have been outstanding. You know, they did. I mean, Pep said there both teams deserve to win the league. They absolutely do. You know, in a funny type of way. But the team who wins it is the one who deserves it. You know, I've been there. You go to race. You know, as much as we were falling away when we won the league, the team who wins the league over that long marathon of a season is the team what deserves to win it.
Yeah. Great win for Man City. About 7 defeats in 9 now for Man United. Let's hear from the United striker Marcus Rashford after the game last night.
Marcus, it's another defeat. How concerning is the gulf between the two teams tonight?
I think, you know, it was quite clear tonight who the better team. We have to. It's been the last couple of weeks, to be honest. It's not felt like Man United. We've not been playing like Man United, and that's not right. Bare minimum it should be to work hard and give you all for the badge, for the supporters, for the fans, and just for the club. But important as well to give it for yourself, because you know it's been a tough road to get where we were. We was never expected to be in this position, but you know we got there, and to be not putting up the performances we were at the beginning of January, it's disappointing for the players. And you know the last couple of weeks we know what's been going wrong, and it's just a matter of putting it back to how it was, and mentality and willingness to run for your team.
Was it any better tonight?
It doesn't matter. You know, we lost the game. What's important in this game, I've always said, it's more than just a game. Forget the league, forget the top four. This game, you don't lose this game. And today they've come here and they beat us, so it's disappointing as a Man United fan.
Are there words in the dressing room? Are people calling each other out? People aren't pulling the weight?
No, you know, we never call each other out, but we understand we have to be real with each other, and it's never a case of calling someone out to single someone out. Never ever will any of us do that in a team. So it's a matter of just trying to improve each other, and that's important within a team. If you want to improve, we have a lot of young players, so we need that type of instructions.
You can talk about it, but what's going to happen for you to actually do it?
I think it's more just getting back used to doing it on the pitch, because we've shown that we can do it. We've shown ourselves, we've shown the manager, the fans, they know that we can do it, and that's what's the most disappointing thing, because you know we're not doing it, and you know we have to get to the bottom of it and start performing like Man United. Forget the top four, forget Champions League next season. We have to play like Man United for ourselves.
Appreciate your honesty, Marcus.
Thank you.
He was very honest, wasn't he? And clearly hurting after the game, Marcus Rashford, a local lad, come through the ranks at United, and it hurts to lose a derby, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's showing that he cares about the badge and he cares about the club, and he performed like that. There isn't enough of them guys in Man United squad at the moment. What Marcus is talking about, forget the results. It's about the performance, about an identity of Manchester United. And if they stick to their identity, a club like Manchester United, with the players, what they have at their resources, not necessarily in that game last night, but over the period of the season, should win more often than they lose. Now, when Man City play, they play with an identity, and they stick to their identity, and their manager trusts them to play like that every single week. At Man United, for far too long now, they are running without an identity. So they need to get back to Man United, how Man United play, recruit the players, which is an easy recruitment. If you know the identity of how you want to play, it's an easier job for the manager to help the recruitment guys to bring in the ones what he wants. Give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the opportunity to bring them in, and then we'll judge him with his squad of players. Easier said than done. The hardest thing, Matt, is to get rid of the ones who you don't need. And I would suggest, quite heavily, you would want to get rid of a lot more than you keep.
Yeah. Well, they've had a lot of different managers since Sir Alex Ferguson, all got different ideas of the way they want to play. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you feel as though wants to go back to almost the Sir Alex Ferguson way.
So do the fans.
Yeah, so do the fans. What's gone wrong though? Because he started the season, well, his tenure, should I say, really well. He's a brilliant start, and all of a sudden now losing 7 of the last 9. It's pretty damning, those stats, aren't they? Look, first 17 games, they only lost 1 game. Win percentage, 82%. They were scoring plenty of goals, conceding a lot less. Now, the last 9 games, all of a sudden, almost as soon as he's got the job permanently, that's happened.
I think the honeymoon's over. Obviously, we can't point a finger too much at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think we lauded him up when he first took the job. He had it on an interim basis. Obviously, it wasn't working under Jose. And he took it and he gave him a lift, he gave him a bounce. And the players really enjoyed it. Now, you have to now start looking around the squad. And I'm sure Ollie is, and his coaching staff, and I'm sure the board of directors are looking around and thinking, which ones, take a lead from the football man, which is the manager, which ones do you feel can take us into a next era of Manchester United and be a success? Because ultimately it's all about winning football matches, and not just winning a few and losing 1 or 2. You're Manchester United, you need to be challenging for the title. They're a couple of years from that.
I mean, that is a big question. Let's have a look at the starting lineup then for United last night. I mean, you can't lose everybody.
No.
So, who are you going to keep?
Well, you can't lose everyone because they're on big money. They play for the biggest club in the world, and it's difficult to let them go. Now, you're going to have to take a bath on some of these guys. You're going to have to let them go to other clubs, and you're going to have to subsidise their wages. Like, for instance, Alexis Sanchez. Who on earth is going to give him 300 grand a week? He's done nothing at Manchester United.
PSG, maybe?
If he does, we'll drive him there now. I mean, Ollie is sure, put him in the back of his car and take him there now. I mean, do it. Do it. You need players at your football club who you believe are going to be the future of the club. I think, though he's having a bad time at the moment, De Gea is a must. You must do everything you can.
Actually, just on Alexis Sanchez, you talked about subs coming on, making an impact. Sane came on and made an impact. Sanchez was on 12 minutes, had 1 touch.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But he's not just last night. I mean, Sanchez has shown that he hasn't. Look, he's not been lucky with injuries since he's been at the football club. But there's a mitigating circumstance there. But for me, it's all done on due diligence of your recruitment. When you look at him at Arsenal, can he play? Yes, of course he can. Has he got the talent to play for Manchester United? Yes. Did he decide when he was at Arsenal whether he played and whether he didn't? Yes, he did. Is that good enough for a club, an institution like Manchester United? Absolutely not. So why bring him into your club? Why on earth did they think they'll be able to change his mentality to be a player?
Would Pep have got more out of him?
Well, perhaps he would. But I think once he decided, when Pep started talking to him, and once he knew that he was just money-driven, lost interest. It wasn't all about that. Pep wants people who are going to buy it and play for the team, and he shows quite vividly of what he's done with the players we mentioned earlier. He tests them, he throws it there, he tests them. If they don't pass the test, he gets rid of them. He's at a club where he's allowed to do that. Pep.
Okay, so who are you going to build a team around then? If you're all going to
Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard, McTominay, not the most. Listen, I hold my hands up. I don't think he's the most talented player in their squad. But he's a squad member and he cares about the football club. De Gea, I would say Lindelof has had a massive improvement under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's someone who will continue to develop. After that, I'll be scratching my head to really rub a stamp and say, you need to keep this one. I think they need to go into the transfer market. Obviously, you can't keep all of them. Young has got to go in my... I think he's had his day there. I think you can...
There's a few they're trying to get rid of, aren't they? Darmian, Rojo, for instance. They'd be the first ones that Ollie will probably look to get away from. Luke Shaw. What about Luke Shaw?
I would keep Luke.
Yeah?
I would keep Luke. I think that he would buy into you. I think he plays the Manchester United way. I think he's a dynamic player going forward. I think he needs to be braver. He needs some leaders. He needs people, no, I'm not saying old players, he's turned into a leader, what he's saying there, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
I can sure that Marcus Rashford next season, when he grows in stature, yeah, I think he'll be able to go to Luke Shaw and say, you dig him out. You know, he's talking about there.
Well, he said in the dressing room there they didn't dig each other out.
We don't dig each other out. We don't do that. Do you think when they were successful they used to dig each other out? Do you think it was always Sir Alex Ferguson?
They had Roy Keane in the dressing room. I'm sure they did.
The dressing room. We saw him lifting the title there with Robson, Brian Robson, and Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister. Well, these guys, they're all leaders. All of them were leaders.
I was talking to someone about United, and they said that the dressing room has changed since Zlatan left that dressing room. He almost, you know, you talk about police in that dressing room. He was the main man, and everyone followed him. As soon as he left, all of a sudden, that big character now is missing out the dressing room.
Yeah, I just don't. I think it needs to be a Manchester United person, and I think you learn the Manchester United way. You know, Marcus kept talking about the Manchester United way. Well, I would like to have asked him, what is the Manchester United way as you remember it? And he would say, Keane. Yeah. He'll be the first one they would mention. It'll be leaders, it'll be mainstays, it'll be Dennis Irwins, it'll be the Nevilles, and then you put your homegrown talents like your Beckhams in and around it. Don't all have to be superstars. John O'Shea wasn't a superstar. Yeah. Wes Brown wasn't a Darren Fletcher wasn't. You know, these guys, but they were part of the jigsaw. Yeah. That's what you need. You cannot all get world-class players in every position. You need a cocktail, and you need to put it all together, and it breeds success.
There's plenty of worries, aren't there, for United at the moment, and perhaps none more so than David De Gea at the moment.
But Matt, I find it very difficult to come on here and criticise David De Gea.
No, I know.
We have to, because you're absolutely right. He's made errors over the last.
His level has dropped.
Yeah, his level's dropped. But how could he possibly keep up the level of what he was doing? It was like a one-man show for the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons. He has. Whatever success Man United have had, which has been little, but even when they won the Europa League under Jose and the Cup, it's because of this kid. 3 errors leading to goals this season in the Premier League. That's the same as the last 5 seasons combined. Yeah. No, he's been poor this year, and he would hold his hands up there, but he's got the character. He's really got the character, I believe, to bounce back. You wouldn't want to be discarding this fella. You know, if he was up for sale, there'd be a queue round Old Trafford for. No, that's the worry. That's the worry. But what he needs to hear, and what he needs to hear from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and from the decision makers at Manchester United, that we are actually going to challenge. He's probably fed up with it. You know, when he's playing well, it's all okay. He was outstanding early on the season at Wembley. I remember making 12 point-blank saves against Tottenham and winning the game for Manchester United. But he's had enough. Yeah, he's had enough at the moment. He looks like that, and when his form's dipping and people start pointing the finger at him, surely in his mind he must be thinking, do you know what? I've kept him in it over the last 3 years, and now I've had a dip of form. People want to start pointing the finger at me. It's not fair. I don't think he'll feel sorry for himself. I think he's man enough to stand up and take it on the chin. Yeah. But he needs to see recruitments. He needs to see Manchester United, the club, what he joined. In terms of recruitments, how much time, how much money does it take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get United challenging again for the title? I don't think it's always about the amount of money. It's about who you bring into the squad. They've always had a fantastic academy. They've still got a fantastic academy. I don't think enough of their young kids get an opportunity to play at the right time. So there could be some gems in amongst it. I mean, let's face it, De Gea, Van Gaal give Marcus Rashford a chance on default. Now look at Marcus Rashford now. 2 goals and he's the mainstay. We're talking about building the club around him. But unless he had injuries in that area and give him the opportunity. Jesse Lingard is an England international. He's one of the top players. Now they're not going to find a whole team to challenge for the title in their academy. Of course they're not. But they need to be very due diligence, what their recruitment people have to do in bringing in the right people who they think can be, and so it's mostly young. Mostly young ones, you know, the young players you need, because if I know what you're saying about Zlatan, but Zlatan's coming towards the end of his career. You know, he was just giving them his experience, but he was really seeing out his time. You know, another massive football club. Get the young ones who are willing to build and willing to grow with the football club, because at the moment, the football club where it is not where Man United should be. It is a huge job, isn't it, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? It's a huge job, actually, to try and get into the top 4. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to see how Arsenal got on last night. Potentially tricky game against Wolves, but they're desperate to get into those Champions League places as well. We'll be back shortly.